The more we pretend we have everything together, the less people are willing to help us. You can easily feel like everyone has it all together. You can easily get the impression that everyone has it all figured out, that everyone is winning. It's not necessarily reality. The perfect picture presents a wall, a barrier to people, because they naturally think that you've got it all together. So why do you need any help? One of the problems I have, one of the challenges that I have is asking for help. But the reality is, unless I'm willing to ask for help, no one is going to help me. Presenting a perfect image is tiring, it's exhausting. It's like running a second business. You already know how hard and how tough this current business is. Now you've created a second world called appearance management. The weight of perfection is a burden we don't have to carry. And letting go of that, we make room for resilience, for true connections, and for paths to grow into who we were meant to be. Imagine what your 2025 would look like if you had a new or old hand-picked village of people around you. Community that isn't just based on appearances, but is based on growth, your support, based on genuine connection. A board of advisors that can surround you to take you to that next level, that can be shoulders to cry on, that can hold you accountable. What would that look like for you if you had that in 2025? The more we pretend we have everything together, the less people are willing to help us. Welcome to today's episode of Friday Leadership. And today's conversation is just a real talk. It's a real talk around the fake it till you make it narrative that, as I thought about this year, as I thought about so many conversations I've had even just recently, I felt it was one of the topics that was right to address as we head towards the end of the year. So we live in a world that is very hyper visual, that is very hyper competitive, and there are times when, as you're scrolling through spaces like LinkedIn, for example, or you might attend conferences, or even just in conversation with friends and colleagues, you can easily feel like everyone has it all together. You can easily get the impression that everyone has it all figured out, that everyone is winning. And in that, it can begin to make you feel like, actually, what am I doing wrong? You can easily start to lean into comparison and so much more. But the interesting thing is, why this conversation was such an important one, is one of the things I've realized over the years, but even more so this year, is as much as people might paint a picture, as much as people might showcase their wins, as much as people might be out and about showcasing this life that's amazing, taking pictures here, there, and everywhere, and all of that, it's not necessarily reality. You know, you see the LinkedIn banner pop up, boom, I'm proud to announce this, I'm proud to announce that. But then you spend some time, and either in one-to-one conversations, either in other settings and environments, you get to really delve behind the curtain. You get to delve behind the pictures. You get to delve behind the perfect image that has been presented to the world. And you realize that this person's struggling. There's some people I've spoken to who are struggling to pay their bills, are struggling to make ends meet. There are people I know who we've had a conversation like, come on, this entrepreneur thing, this 9 to 5, this entrepreneur founder lifestyle is not it. And you need to go back into a 9 to 5 corporate role. And that realization has been tough and hard for them, but they've made that choice. But yet, if you were to see their world and the way it's been presented, it's two completely different things. And there's a quote that I wrote a while ago that I kind of stay with me and I ponder on, and it goes, as leaders, if we put all our energy into hiding our struggles, we leave no room for growth, no space for community, and no chance to truly connect. As leaders, if we put all our energy into hiding our struggles, we'll leave no room for growth, no space for community, and no chance to truly connect. I'm a second-time founder. There is so much I do not know. There is so much I am learning on this journey. And there's so much I want to do that sometimes, like, oh my gosh, Lord, why is this not moving forward quickly? Lord, why is this happening? Why is this person flopping? And why do I have to let this person go? And so many more tirades like that happen between me and God, between me and some of my other friends. But one thing that I've learned through running this business, running my previous business, and even when I worked in corporate, if all I ever present to the world is the perfect picture, no one is going to come and help me. No one's going to come and support me. The perfect picture presents a wall, presents a barrier to people, because they naturally think that you've got it all together. So why do you need any help? So when I'm recording this podcast, this is not from a place of judgment, not at all. It's more from a place of love, a place of lessons that I have learned, and honestly, from a place of realness. Because I want you to listen to this, and I want you to think, are there facades I'm holding up in my life that are not helping? Because as much as we all hold up the perfect picture, on the other hand, we were then saying, no one's come to help us. No one's come to support us. No one's opened up doors. No one's provided opportunities, blah, 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 blah. I've certainly said it. And I remember there was a time when I said a statement to a friend of mine. I was like, I support a lot of people in so many different ways behind the scenes. Why is it that I don't ever get that support back? And he said to me, how often have you asked? And that hit me. That hit me in my chest, because one of the problems I have, one of the challenges that I have is asking for help. But the reality is, unless I'm willing to ask for help, no one is going to help me. So I am saying this and recording this podcast from someone who is a work in progress, like we all are, who's still trying to figure things out. But I am being real, because I want you to think about it, and think about the areas and the changes you need to make as we move into 2025. I know one of the challenges that I've had is when it feels like everyone is doing incredible things around us, there's a pressure to match that. There's a pressure to compare ourselves to that. But behind every leader, behind every founder, behind every success story, there is a community of people. There are friends, there are mentors, there are colleagues, there are sponsors, all lifting people up. No one is self-made. An episode I had a couple of weeks ago, Shanice Myers kind of touched on that subject, so go back and listen to her, because she dropped so many incredible bars around people, around community, around building authentic relationships as our true, authentic selves. Strengths and weaknesses in full view. Vulnerability bared open with and to the right people. And everyone needs to know your business. Facts. So having a very close circle is important. But before I delve a little bit further into that close circle, presenting a perfect image is tiring. Presenting a perfect image is exhausting. It's like running a second business. You already know how hard and how tough this current business is. Now you've created a second one called appearance management. Why? Ain't nobody got time for that. You're trying to make it with this one. You've got bills to pay. You've got ambitions to turn into reality. You've got purpose to walk in. Why would you create a second business? This year has thrown some curveballs. In fact, one just happened about 2 weeks ago. The deal that I've been working on that's going to help for 2025 for me, my associates, and other people I work with in my company looked like it was over the line. Nothing been signed yet. I know you don't count your eggs before they hatch, but we were in a very, very good space. But then due to the results from the election, something happened which was not a surprise on one hand, and it reduced the amount that deal was going to be worth, which has some major repercussions. My first instance, even though I knew more than likely this might happen, was annoyance and frustration and all those different emotions that come up. My second instance was to text my wife, and I text 3 of my close friends. And as I just kind of shared with them, the message I sent to them after my frustration and my rant was, it could be a lot worse. So I'm thankful and grateful for that. I'm thankful and grateful for the partner that I'm working with who has helped facilitate this, because it's not been easy from his side of things. But I'm also thankful and grateful to God that I have something I can build on going forward, and it just motivates me to go harder in 2025. I had people around me that I could turn to, I could share the highs, the lows, to process and let it all out. And you know what? It felt good. The weight of perfection is a burden we don't have to carry. And letting go of that, we make room for resilience, for true connections, and for a path to grow into who we were meant to be. The more pretend we isolate ourselves. And isolation, that feeling of being alone in the struggle is heavy. It's suffocating. When we drop the facade, when we're honest with ourselves, when we're honest with those around us, the doors are just boom, they're flung open. They are flung open for collaboration, for advice, for mentorship, sponsorship, for empathy. There are a lot of people that we see publicly that we don't know privately who was there for them. But there were people. They had their own board of advisors who moved so much for them in one way, shape, or form. For example, Eduardo Savarino. That's a name you have probably never heard of. He was a co-founder of Facebook. He was one that provided early financial support for them in the initial stages of their company. A name you don't hear of. A name you might have heard of, Sean Parker. He was a co-founder of Napster. But he played a crucial role in introducing Mark Zuckerberg to Silicon Valley investors. And he helped them he helped Facebook secure their first major funding. 2 people, 2 names, not really spoken about in the Facebook journey. Everyone talks about Mark Zucks. But behind the scenes, he had people. There's someone I never got to know, but I did get to know through reading about him, was Bill Campbell. Bill Campbell was known as the billionaire coach of Silicon Valley. He was one of the people who was a mentor to someone like Steve Jobs, as an example. He was a close advisor and a mentor, and he helped him build Apple, especially when Steve came back in, and kind of evolve his management and leadership style, which was an absolute mess if you've read about some of the early days of Steve Jobs. Mike Makula, a name you probably haven't heard of, was another angel investor into Apple. He was one of the people that helped to secure their early funding. He gave them $250K. He was also an early chairman, and he helped Apple create their business strategy. The names of the list go on and on and on. You find me someone who is out and out successful, and I'll find you a board of advisors around them. Barack Obama, apart from Michelle, who was like the main one, he had two people. David Axelrod, who was Obama's chief strategist, and he helped craft his messages and guided him through both the Senate and presidential elections. Valerie Jarrett, who is a longtime friend and advisor, was instrumental in Obama's transition to national politics. She provided strategic advice, as well as so many different things throughout his career. Even Trump had Elon, had Peter Thiel, and other people. And you think you're trying to do it alone? You think faking it to make it is going to work? Come on. Why? Imagine what your 2025 would look like if you had a new or old or a hand-picked village of people around you. A community that isn't just based on appearances, but is based on your growth, your support, based on genuine connection. A board of advisors that can surround you to take you to that next level, that can be shoulders to cry on, that can hold you accountable. What would that look like for you if you had that in 2025? How many of your goals and of your dreams will become a reality? How many people would you inspire and move forward if you did that for 2025? No one has all the answers. I said it in the start of this, I'm going to say it again. I do not. I am brilliant at asking questions. I am brilliant at helping people get clarity. I am brilliant at being a strategic advisor. I'm going to own it. But I'm still trying to figure things out for myself. Just because I can do it well for other people doesn't mean that it translates straight for you, because you have your own issues and your own biases and everything else that flows through. So I'm in the same boat as everyone else. I need people around me. You need people who are willing to challenge you, people who are willing to ask you questions, people who are willing to not dim or diminish your dream in any way, shape, or form, but help you to refine it. But then people who are willing to call you out. That's so important. That is such an underrated person to have in your life. Someone who's going to call you out, like, what are you doing? Why are you wasting your time? Don't dismiss those people. They're not always haters. I said not always. Some of them are. They're not always haters. But you need to have that contrarian view in your life, because that is where leadership begins. Not in perfection, not in the polished images, not in the hiding who you truly are, not in wearing a mask, but in realness, authenticity, real conversation, honest admissions, in the quiet moments where people can lean in or can lean out. So as you scroll through all the various LinkedIn posts, all the various announcements, all the various achievements, as you see the various images of people attending parties that you might want to be at, or awards or functions you might want to be at, and you're not in those rooms and environments, and you might feel bad or feel angry or feel jealous. Process those emotions. Let them flow through you. And then ask yourself, who do I need to know? Who do I need to speak to? Who do I need to let in to my world? Who can help me truly achieve? Who can help me make 2025 one of the best years ever? But the work starts in 24. That's why I'm recording this right now. I don't want you to wait till New Year, New Me. That's all rubbish. The New Year, New Me starts now. Who do you need to speak to? Who do you need to reach out to and surround yourself with? What are the questions that you need that are going to unlock that clarity? What are the questions you need that are going to help you to unlearn certain things that you need to let go of? Who are the people who are going to help you to unleash the fullness of who you were meant to be. That is my question to you today. Hope you enjoyed this podcast episode. I'll see you next week.